Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So if you're at all caught up on the U.S. political landscape, you are well aware that the TikTok ban is set to go into effect January 19th. Whether or not that happens, it's all up in the air. Apparently, Biden might be wanting to do something. Trump wants to save the app. But as of right now, it is set to get banned on January 19th. And if you know anything about my background, I got my start in content creation on the app of TikTok back in the spring of 2021. I can thank TikTok for basically all my success. Started with nothing. That algorithm is just unlike anything else on social media. The ability to go viral right out of the gates. I think my first video was like a 2015 grading a 2015 draft. We got like 100,000 views. So I kept on making videos over the last basically the last 4 years, migrating over to YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. So yeah, I thought if this app is going down before us Americans get blocked off it, might as well make a fun video going over the worst takes that I've had on TikTok, because spoiler alert, there's a shit ton. Back in 2021, back in 2022, I was just yapping away, making hot takes nonstop. If an idea came through my head, I was probably posting it on TikTok. I'm a lot more in control nowadays, acting like it's a drug addiction or something. But like, I'm not as controversial as I was back then, and some people still think I'm an absolute idiot. But yeah, we're gonna go through it now. I had former podcast co-host Matt cut up my worst take. So I have not seen these. I probably know some of them that are gonna be involved, because there's just some classics that are just so bad, and some of them that just aged like instantly like crap. But yeah, we're gonna go through it now. Shout out to Matt Magani for cutting this up. It's 19 minutes long. I'm probably gonna have to skip through some of it, because like the initial take is what you guys really care about, not just the overall fluff within the video to get it to over a minute long. But yeah, this is gonna be fun. We're gonna go through it right now. I might have to do a version of this where I go through my best takes, just so you guys don't think I'm an absolute idiot. But yeah, let's not waste any time. Let's get into it. And the first one is a doozy. The Canucks should move Quinn Hughes. And by the way, I am not as calm as I was back on my TikTok days, so I think I told him to go in chronological order. The first couple of videos, it's going to be hard to watch. Not just the takes, but the way that I deliver it, it's going to be rough.
This might be one of my hottest takes of all time, and that is saying something, but I think
yeah, that is saying something. Back in the summer, this was the summer of 2021, I was off my rocker.
Canucks should move Quinn Hughes from defense to left wing. And I mean, it comes down to the fact that a defenseman should be good at defense, and he is simply horrible at it. Last season, he allowed the second most.
Yeah, obviously horrible. Arguably the best defenseman in the entire NHL. He's come a long way defensively. Really stupid. Even in the moment, yes, he was pretty bad defensively, but he was like 20 years old. He was in his second full NHL season. The Canucks were not good in terms of giving him legit pairs to utilize his offensive game and not get exposed as much defensively. We'll go through the rest. Ridiculous. 2021 me, if Lane Hudson was having the season that he is today, I'd probably make some dumb video at the end of the year saying that
goals in the entire league. And for my advanced stats, guys, he put up a horrible 46% goals 4%, which was 11th worst in the league. And I hate to say hits are important to playing the position, because usually they're not, but he has put up 25 combined hits in the past.
Hits. I used to be a boomer, I guess.
He's not physical enough for the position. This is not supposed to be me just slandering. He is a fantastic offensive player. There is no denying that.
He maybe could have been a good left wing if they ended up moving him. I don't know if he'd be a top 2 left wing in the entire NHL,
but he's a defensive liability. So I think the Canucks should try him out on left wing and just see what happens. Imagine a him, Pettersson, and Besser line. If it doesn't work out, you throw him back on defense, but you need a partner with a great defensive defenseman, or else he will struggle. Wait, let me know the
comments. Yeah, I mean, we saw it this year. Phil Peronic was that legit top pair right-handed defenseman, and he thrived. Again, even like, it's just stupid as hell. I never should have said that.
What you think? Do you think the Canucks should try him out on left wing, or should he stick with D? Okay, so we all know that the young talent is insanely impressive. Guys like McDavid.
There's one. I know which one. I know what the really bad one's going to be.
Guys under the age of 25 that I think can develop into all-stars. First, we got Joel Eriksson, and he's already one of the best defensive centers in the entire league. If his offensive game keeps on developing, he's going to be a mini Bergeron. Next up, Martin Necas. He quietly put up 63-point pace in only 22. The Hurricanes would be contenders for the next 5 years, and it wouldn't shock me if Necas is putting up 70 a year. Ty Smith, while not in the Carn Fox tier of young.
Yeah, Ty Smith, after that COVID season, this again was summer 2021. He was just a good young offensive defenseman on a shit team, put up a bunch of points, but quickly got exposed, basically like a Will Butcher.
Defenseman is going to be really good. Already half a point per game guy, and as the Devils continue to grow, he's going to be leading them on the...
Yeah, he was supposed to be their young star defenseman alongside Jack Hughes. Obviously did not work out. Ended up getting traded to Pittsburgh in the John Marino trade, I want to say. Next up, Brady Tkachuk trashing on him. What's it, like an $8.2 million deal?
Okay, it finally has happened. Brady Tkachuk has re-signed with the Ottawa Senators, and I love this guy, but holy shit, is this an overpayment. 7 years, about $8.2 million. That's...
At the time, I'm sure I'm referencing numbers. We're going to see it. At the time, I don't think that this was a crazy take, but obviously he eventually did take those steps and become an elite first liner. Oh, no.
That's what elite first liners get, and he has not proven he can be one yet. First 3 years in the league, he has been about the same player.
Yeah, dude, I've switched up on this. If you're a young guy, even this much production, pay your young guy, 21 years old, highly regarded prospect. Frickin' pay him. It usually works out. It worked out. They eventually did it with Tim Stützle like 6 months later. Dumb.
Every single year, about 25 goals and 25 assists. There hasn't been this massive step of improvement
that is true, but the Ottawa Senators stunk. So yeah, he didn't take a massive step.
Warrants him getting $8.2 million. And it's not like this guy is some analytical darling.
Literally has like elite offensive play driving. He just needed to learn to finish, and he has been better defensively in prior years.
In fact, his analytics are kind of horrible. Yes, he generates a lot of chances, but he does not finish those chances, and he's also very bad on defense. How do you give this guy $8.2 million?
Oh, that's bad. Am I about to say like, oh, Svechnikov got way less?
But just a month ago, Andrei Svechnikov signed for $7.75, and he is clearly better than Tkachuk.
Yeah, in the last 3 years, Tkachuk has been clearly better than Svechnikov. I'm convinced at this point that Svechnikov is like, in reality, like 28, 29 years old. The way that this guy plateaued in like 2020, despite being 19, 20 years old.
I don't get why Ottawa didn't give this guy a bridge deal. Bridge deals are...
It's crazy how like nowadays I am so like lock up the guys. Bridge deals are the devil. You look at Erasmus Dahlin, they should have locked him up. 2021 me, man. Dumb.
Created for guys like Tkachuk that have potential but have not put it together yet. I would have given this guy like a bridge deal of 3 years, $6.5 million, and on a long-term deal.
Think about that. If that happened, he would have got like $10 million. That would be last summer.
I wouldn't have gone above 7.25. I'm not saying he's never going to be worth this deal. He's only
literally. I don't know if he was worth it the next season, but definitely the season after that. I think
22.
Was
He still
breakout.
can improve, but he did not have the leverage to get 8.2 million. That's a really bad precedent for the Senators because Josh Norris is a free agent next offseason.
Josh Norris ended up being a not that good of a deal, but because of other reasons.
Tim Stützle too after that.
Tim Stützle, they did the exact same thing, and that ended up being a great deal. Dumb.
And they're gonna want this kind of money. Anyway, I wonder from the comments, do you guys think this was a good deal for the Senators? Okay, last night the Florida Panthers were eliminated.
No. We need context on this, Matt. This is slander. I probably say it in the video, but if this is the 2022 playoffs, which I think it is, obviously after they made the Tkachuk trade, I switched it up. I love the Tkachuk trade.
From the Stanley Cup playoffs, pretty embarrassingly swept by the Tampa Bay Lightning. And I hate to be pessimistic and overreactionary, but I truly believe this was this core's best chance.
This core's
Will they be a good team in the next couple of years? Of course, but not this President's Trophy offensive juggernaut they were this year. It starts with Alex Barkov, who, in my opinion,
let me see if I eventually get. Oh my God, I forgot they traded everything at the deadline that year. That's the craziest thing. Like 2023, 2024, they didn't really do shit at the deadline, but made the Stanley Cup final. Got Tarasenko in 2024, but
Coyotes. Unless they want to start dipping into their 2025 picks, they really can't improve that much this summer or even at the deadline next year. Another major area of concern is Sergei Bobrovsky.
Move on.
Even a little because that contract.
Get to Huberdeau and Uyghur.
Lastly,
exonerate me. Yes.
Next season, but any moves they do, they need to be very weary that Huberdeau and
they ship them the hell out.
Agents next offseason. Not only are they free agents like Barkov, Huberdeau's only making $5.9 million. Uyghur's only making $3 million.
Yeah. Fuck yes. This is not a bad take. In the moment, that was their best chance after winning the President's Trophy and going nuclear all in. So this video should be renamed some of my worst takes and one of my better takes that they ended up adjusting to. Okay, losers of the 2022 draft.
Well, first, I have to put them on this, but it's my New York Islanders. That Romanov trade was fucking horrendous. In no known universes,
I'm not gonna. He's better than expected, I would say. Still, Islanders probably should have retooled, rebuilt there. I assume I put a different team here. That's gonna be a bad take.
This man has lost it. Does he make them a better team? Yes, probably, and he could be part of this future. But with the 13th overall pick, you should be going after guys like JT Miller, not like a bottom.
JT, that would have been insane if he did.
Speaking of teams in the Romanov trade.
Oh, 2022 draft. Think about it. There's no way I say like Lane Hudson was a bad pick at 62nd. I had Slavkovsky second, I think, on my board. So I probably wanted them to take Cooley in the Kirby Dach deal. I'm going to assume I'm going to criticize. But yeah, with Lane Hudson getting drafted 62nd, they got like 2 out of the top 3 players.
This is probably going to be controversial, but I don't think the Canadiens had that good of a draft. Slavkovsky was not my number 1 prospect, and he is a very boomer bust guy.
Still true. Still, I don't think that he goes number 1 in a redraft, but he's definitely not outside of the top 3, for sure, top 4.
Pick could be looked at in 5 years as horrible. And I thought they did fantastic with the Romanov trade, but then they flipped that 13th overall pick for Kirby Dach, who is not worth the 13th.
Kirby Dach has not, in part because of injuries, in part, massive part because of the injuries, but I still think that's true.
13th overall pick. Be honest, what has this guy proven in his first 3 years in the NHL?
He has been better than this, obviously, but yeah, it's just funny that I said the 2022 draft was a miss, and meanwhile, they got like potential franchise defenseman at second.
Still worth a 62nd. He only has trade value because he went 3rd overall 3 years ago. It's not like he's some advanced stats hidden gem. He has dog shit advanced.
I love my JFresh charts back in the day.
If they went Cooley 1st overall and then kept that 13th overall pick, they'd probably be on the winners list.
Did I say Cooley 1st overall? Yeah, I think Cooley arguably still, it's probably between Cooley and Hudson right now. Slavkovsky, you can make an argument. But
instead of losers list. Okay, so earlier today, the Winnipeg.
What was this? Summer of 2022, if it's in chronological order. They missed the playoffs in 2022. You thought they would maybe go through rebuild. It's going to be interesting to see what I say because, again, in 2023, made the playoffs, 2024, 110 points. This year, on pace for like 110 points. But yeah.
Stripped Blake Wheeler of the captaincy, and they tried to frame it as like, we don't want one leader. We want a bunch of leaders, which I think is a load of crap. I think they're getting ready to blow it up. Like, I saw this tweet from Darren Dreger, Bonus, basically saying he wants everybody to have a bigger leadership so it doesn't fall on one player. That is just a load of crap. You see Alyssa or Jet-centric being like,
shout out Alyssa.
Makes no sense. You know what stripping Blake Wheeler the captaincy does do? It makes him a lot easier to trade mid-season PR-wise. Because let's be honest, the Winnipeg Jets have plateaued and even regressed.
Meanwhile, like immediately after I say this, they just shot all the way back up.
The last 3 to 4 years, they are not a serious threat. The best thing for the Winnipeg Jets
still not that.
Not a full.
Still don't think that there's some kind of like top tier contender, but they could go on a run.
Arizona rebuild, trade everyone in sight, but trade some players and retool around them.
The
first 2 to go are obviously Blake Wheeler and Mark Scheifele.
Mark Scheifele, meanwhile, has been like awesome this season. The prior 2 years
Wheeler
also very good.
Wheeler has 2 years left at $8 million per.
They did move off
Scheifele
Wheeler,
has 2 years left at $6 million per. Assuming the Jets get off to a slow start and are not really in the playoff picture come trade deadline, they should half retain both these players, and they would get a pretty big haul. A contender would salivate for 2 cup runs with Mark Scheifele making $3 million.
That's correct.
Because in 2 years, I'm sorry, you are not re-signing a 38-year-old Blake Wheeler.
I feel like I'm about to say like Hellbuck also should get traded.
You're not giving a long-term extension to a 31-year-old Mark Scheifele. And on top of that, Pierre-Luc Dubois already wants out. He's basically told the media, I'm going to end up in Montreal.
That did happen, but they absolutely fleeced the LA Kings in getting PLD. Trading PLD away and got arguably a better player in Gabe Vilardi.
I don't care if I have to wait a year or 2, it's going to happen. And if you trade Pierre-Luc Dubois, you are not getting a better player in return. They
literally did. At least like LA Kings or like Winnipeg Jets PLD. PLD's playing great right now. But yeah, oh my God, they got a high 2nd round pick.
Probably going to get like a
Vilardi.
young roster player.
Young roster player Vilardi that was better last season than PLD.
And then picks. So it makes the most sense to trade those 2 players and then build around Kyle Connor, one of the best goal scorers in the league, and then Ehlers, one of the most underrated players in the entire league, in my opinion. Also, they should keep Connor Hellebuyck unless they get an absolutely insane offer because elite goalies do not grow on trees. But yeah, the Winnipeg Jets are stuck in no man's land, and I think
they got out of no man's land, man. Maybe not going to win a Stanley Cup, but it's tough because Winnipeg, like, I didn't realize like it's going to be tough for them to ever rebuild considering the market size and the capacity.
Their probably management not going to rebuild. Is starting to realize that too, and stripping Wheeler of the captaincy kind of shows that they're done with this core. I think their strategy
was not nearly done with this core. Just needed to get Blake Wheeler out of there and PLD.
Simple, kind of stink for the next 2 years after you trade these guys, and then coming out of that, I think they could be a competitive team again. But anyway, let me know in the comments. Do you think I'm reading too much into Wheeler being stripped of the captaincy, and do you think the Jets have a shot at making the playoffs? I really don't think so, but I want to hear from you guys. Okay, so it's finally over. Timo Meier is a New Jersey Devil, and I think this is a horrendous trade by the Sharks. Here's the full package. It is a
2023 first became Quinn and Musty. The 2024 first, I think, became a second. They used that for, I forget who. Leo Saline Wallenius. Yeah, this turned out to be a pretty good package. Shakir probably going to end up being like a second pair defenseman. Zetterlund's been very productive for them. Solid middle sixer going forward. Yeah, this was a miss. I probably trashed on this because they knocked it out of the park with their drafting.
The San Jose Sharks, and that's my main problem with it. It is a lot of quantity over quality. Fabian Zetterlund.
They didn't get they still didn't get like a blue chip guy, but again, Zetterlund core piece, not core piece, but miss. Let's skip this fucking explanation. Oh no! Oilers will dominate the night.
Gave out my pick then. I'm sticking to it, and I wanted to elaborate on it more. But I think the Oilers absolutely walked the Vegas Golden Knights in 5 games at most.
I think how'd that go? I think the Oilers did they go up 2-0, and then the Knights just dominated them the next 4 games. Like McDavid and Draisaitl with ice cold.
For the Oilers,
I think Draisaitl had like 6 goals in the first 2 games, and then just.
LA Kings
and Pietrangelo tried to kill him with that slash.
Series was much more of a concern, much more of a worse matchup than the
Think about it. Vegas ended up winning the Stanley Cup.
And I'm not saying the Vegas Golden Knights are a bad team. They do a lot of things at an above average level that
it's like you almost like have to do a lot of things at above average level to win the Stanley Cup compared to Edmonton that just does a couple things.
Winning close games.
Fucking idiot.
But they don't have anything special that you look for in a team that's
Aiden Hill, in fairness, also Aiden Hill did play special on that run. That's kind of why.
When you compare the Oilers and the Vegas Golden Knights, it's really just not a debate in my opinion. Our duos in this series.
Why was I picked Edmonton to win it that year? I don't know why I was like so like acting like they were the 2022 Colorado Avalanche for heaven's sake.
Overall forward core, give me the Oilers. Defense, honestly, since the Ekholm trade, I would probably go with the Oilers as well. Because Vegas does have 2 elite defensemen, but Shea Theodore has always been an all offense, no defense. And the stats also back that up. Vegas, again, a good team, an above average team for the most part, but not special in any one department.
They didn't have Mark Stone for like the entire back half of the year, though.
19th in penalty kill. You do not want to be 19th in penalty kill against the team you're about to go up
Oilers
against.
Power play of all time.
Get a lot of shit for their even strength game, but was still 5th in the league in expected goals per.
Numbers, dork.
So statistically, the better team.
Dork.
5-on-5. They have the goalie advantage, in my opinion.
It's a Stuart Skinner goalie.
Then you have the greatest power play of all time going against the 19th best regular.
There was logic here. Me being cocky and saying they're going to dog walk them and it's not a debate is just like, especially Vegas just had so much playoff success even before they won the Stanley Cup.
Penalty kill, that is a massive mismatch. And I know what a lot of people are going to try to say to refute those stats, saying that Vegas had Mark Stone for only half the year. With
That's
Mark
what
Stone,
I just said.
Much better team stats-wise, which is definitely true to a degree. But if you're going to apply that logic, Ekholm only played a quarter of the season with the Oilers, and when he's been in the lineup, they're like 19-3-1. And I don't think regular series that's. It is the Edmonton Oilers.
Oh, no, not this edit from freaking. Oh, no, we got to go back for this. Oh, no, not the edit from
It is the Edmonton Oilers.
Keep riding the Oilers right now. I'm back. Subs back on.
Damn shame. $300 donation to the sports book. Shout out Aiden for that. You're a real one for making that edit. Back to the bad takes. Philip Hronek trade. This was wild at the time because the Canucks were out of a playoff spot. They gave up a first that became Axel Sandin Palika. So, like, they did give up a decent amount of first and a second. I hated it because I didn't think the Canucks really had much the next 2 to 3 years. Next season, they would go on to have, like, win the goddamn division.
Okay, so if I just deem the Shane Gothisbehere trade the best trade of the trade deadline, this one's pretty easily the stupidest. Philip Hronek heading to the Vancouver Canucks for the Islanders' first-round pick in a 2023 second. In terms of actual value for Philip Hronek, a 25-year-old solid defenseman with another year on his contract, this isn't...
Yeah, it was all about fit. The overall price, great deal for Detroit, no doubt. They didn't need Hronek anymore. They got ASP.
That bad of a price? It just makes absolutely no sense. If an actual legit contender paid this price for Philip Hronek, I think, okay, that's pretty
Canucks
solid.
Canucks the next season were a legit contender.
Worth that. Why the fuck are the Canucks doing this? Trade the pick that they got in the Bo Horvat trade, which was basically...
That was a little bit confusing how they sold Bo Horvat. Bo Horvat's obviously older than Philly H, but yeah, and then they flipped it and ended up doing that. But as long as they can get their locker room figured out, it looks like getting that number 2 defenseman for Quinn Hughes. ASP would have been cool, but he's basically like right-handed Quinn Hughes for the most part. Probably not going to be as good defensively. But Yeah, good trade by the Canucks.
We need a retool. We need a rebuild to then go acquire an impact player right now.
He was only 25 years old. That was stupid. He obviously fit their
core. With the way the Canucks have been playing of late, that 2023 second-round pick, it's not like a late second. It's going to be like 40.
I think they ended up getting like Brady Cleveland out of it or something
overall.
like it.
Give up 2 top 40 overall picks for Filip Hronek, who makes your defense core better, but your defense core is still pretty garbage. If the Canucks didn't do this and then traded Kuzmenko for like a first-round pick, at least based on what we've seen in the market right now, they would have had a really nice rebuild cooking. Now they have Hronek, who's going to be a decent
Andre Kuzmenko.
For them.
Jesus.
He is a pretty good
Back
player.
when he had, what, 39 goals?
They're probably going to pay him after next season and just be mid yet again. If you're Detroit, I do think
let's skip to the next one.
You can't still be building through the draft. You should have already drafted.
I'm trashing on the Iser plan.
B+, A-. Anyway, let me know in the comments, what do you think about this trade? I was absolutely floored when it happened. Okay, so I've had this take for the last couple of weeks.
This wasn't this season. This was a season ago when they finished with like 79 points or something like that.
Really just cemented it for me. And
the Tarasenko, oh my God. The Tarasenko deal really cemented. He was good for the Senators, but literally got traded at deadline.
Just going to be a playoff team. I think they're going to be the 3rd best team. I
think the crazy thing is I think I ended up picking them 2nd in the division, not even 3rd. I think I only had like the Leafs ahead of them
next year. I fully believe that after addressing some of their needs and doing a pretty.
Meanwhile, think about it. One of the needs that they addressed was goalie by getting Korpisalo. Like that was the big. I mean, at the time he was very good for the Jackets and then the Kings. But that exploded.
Solid job in replacing DeBrincat for next year.
They got Tarasenko, but yeah, the Kubalik. Remember, we thought the Kubalik was like still a decent player. Meanwhile, he's playing in Czechia now, I think.
They are going to be about a 100-point team, maybe 105. I know what some of you guys are screaming right now. Last year, we heard all the same.
Yeah, it's weird. I flipped the script. Like before the 2021-2022 season, I didn't like them. Wait. No. Before the 2022-2023 season, I didn't like them, but then I flipped the script.
Crap, everybody was hyping them up. I was not one of them. This was in my preseason video. I said that they were going to disappoint. They were not quite.
Meanwhile, they were better in 2023 than they were in 2024. Not good.
There yet. Look at me in the same goddamn sweatshirt, but I fully believe they have got to that next level now. For me, what is the main difference between the Senators heading into last year and
Chychrun just wasn't that good of a fit, man. It just didn't end up working out, playing him on the right side.
Heading into
and obviously Eric having Travis Hamonic
is the defense core. Jake Sanderson has proved that he is already a very good top 4 defenseman. Last year, I fully expect him to take that next step.
He did.
Of a good top pair. And of course, they're only going to get better after having a full season of Jacob Chychrun, him being used to that system. The dude is a very good top pair guy.
Now get to the goalies, Mike. Now get to the goalies.
Very good offensively. They have 3 very, very good defensemen. They might not be top 20 defensemen in the league, but they are somewhere between that top 20 to 50 range. To round it out,
more like top. That's last season, more like 45 to 50
Ransom
probably.
Finally showed some promise last year. I think he's going to end up being a solid defenseman. Zub's such a physical defensive.
Let's see if I say Hamonic's a good
presence.
Defenseman.
The only weak link I would say is Hamonic, but he's a veteran. He knows what to do. This defense core went from no doubt being bottom 10 last year to me arguing that it is fringe top 10 this year. Of course, we know the top 6 is absolutely loaded.
I think I made another video that somewhere being like, they have the best top 6 in the entire NHL. Remember that was going around? Obviously, Josh Norris disappointed. Batherson wasn't quite as good as prior years.
And you look at a guy like Josh Norris. That
Tim Stützle went from 90 points to whatever, being hurt and having 70.
The entire season, the dude is a 35 goal scorer, 23-year-old. When it comes to Alex DeBrincat, I think we can all agree that over the next 5 to 10 years, you would rather have DeBrincat than Tarasenko and Kubalik. But you look at just
Kubalik, he stunk. He had like 4 goals
this next year, based on what we saw in a Senators uniform from DeBrincat. I am taking Tarasenko and Kubalik for roughly the same cap hit. Now, because they were able to spread that money to Tarasenko and Kubalik instead of just giving it to DeBrincat, they actually have a
that is just not good depth, really.
Pretty solid bottom 6. That 3rd line is actually very good if Ridley Gregg can be something. I think Matthew Joseph probably
get to the goalies
in order to sign Shane Pinto, but this 4th line is perfectly serviceable. And lastly, of course, they
big time addressed the
goaltending and finally spent some big money on Korpisalo. I don't think Korpisalo is a top 15 goal.
Right, so at least I wasn't completely glazing him.
Somewhere between that 16 to 25 overall, which would be
he was 46 to 20 for 55 last year.
Upgrade, and he can give them 50 games of about 908,
Not even close. What did he finish with? 982?
10 save percentage.
Yeah, overall, you look at the Senators, the top 6 is still very elite. Rebuild ends this year, though. Rebuild ends this year, though.
Like that third line, the defense core went from the Ottawa Senators. I would slightly pick them over the Sabres and the Bruins right now, who are also going to be competitive.
Bruins had 109 points.
And then I think the Red Wings are still 1 or 2 years away when their young guys come up. Okay, so just when I thought the deals were done.
Oof. This one last year aged horribly. Sharon Govich has thankfully fallen off a decent amount. They got Suniev with that 80th pick that's playing pretty good at UMass. But yeah, I thought this was a steal, and then the Devils went to shit. So let's see what I say.
The Devils probably get the biggest steal of the entire offseason, getting Tyler Toffoli for a third-round pick in Yegor Sharangovich. I think the word fleece gets way too overused in the hockey space, but this is an utter fleece. Toffoli is 31 years old.
What's up with my hair? Jesus, ever since I shaved my head, I take better care of my hair, so it's not the curly mess that you see there.
$4.25 million. So this is basically the Devils doing their deadline rental in the offseason, and they don't give up much. Foley, obviously, still a very good player.
He was insane in that 2022-2023 season.
Even at age 31, he just put up 34 goals and 73 points. He is going to slot very nicely on either Hughes or Heischer's wing. As for what the Calgary Flames are getting,
Sharangovich bounced back, but again, I doubled down on the Sharangovich hate with the 5-year, $5.75 million deal, and I think it's paying off now.
Third-round pick. I don't value.
What's the saying? I wasn't wrong, just early, or something like that. But still, for the Devils, you thought that this was going to be some kind of next-level fleecing that was going to take them to that next step. Did not quite happen.
Gotten worse recently. First 2 years, he was mainly playing with Jack Hughes. Then this most recent year, his ice time shot.
Is that it? That's it.
Let me know in the comments what you think about this.
Let me know in the comments. What do you think about these horrible takes by me? Which ones aged the worst? It's Quinn Hughes moving to left wing. Which ones do you think actually aren't that bad? And I'll be seeing the next one. Maybe we'll have to do a best version of this. And yeah, shout out TikTok. If you've ever followed me on that, I really appreciate it. Damn shame it's coming to an end. But yeah, it is what it is. We'll keep on pumping out content. I'll be seeing the next one. Peace.